Sorry, I just swallowed my tea wrong.
Do you mean you swallow your tea wrong?
Well, I just took a big swig of tea as you switched the microphone on. Oh, well, hello.
Hang on, because we're really loud. Hang on,
Oh, are we?
Just turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
How's that? That's better.
Okay. Welcome to One Life Wing It.
Welcome, indeed.
What are we talking about today, Mark?
Why are you asking me?
Because I'm being an introducer person.
Oh. A presenter?
Yeah,
You're
that's
presenting.
what I meant.
Today we're talking about Snikkit.com. Which is what, Auntie Jo?
Our new venture.
Yeah, this is just a blatant advert, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a blatant advert to tell you about what we've been doing for the last 6 months.
6 months now, yeah.
Bloody hell.
I know, that's
It's
soon
taken
gone.
ages and ages and ages, hasn't it? From the fruition, is that the right word? Fruition.
Which was in Dresden. That was the very beginning.
Shall we tell them about what happened and then what we decided to do?
We decided to download a free app when we went to Dresden around September, I think we went last year. Just as a quick guide, really, so that we could get to all the key points. We were only there for a day, so we wanted to find out as much as possible and
use our time the best we can,
indeed,
and save us going into like just reading books and going, oh, this is what, yeah, you are. I mean, if you've ever been to Dresden, it's a beautiful city, but you've got to walk around, haven't you? You've got to walk around. You don't know where you're going. You get a tourist map, and you know.
Well, you see the most stunning buildings, and you've no idea what they are. So it's just useful, isn't it? I mean, some things are signed, of course, but.
But the ideal thing is we downloaded this app, didn't we? Yeah. And it was like, we had no idea what it was, switched it on, and it asked me if I wanted to turn on Google Translate. And I thought, well, that's weird. Turned it on anyway, and we just started rambling, didn't we? Just rambling around the city. And then as we got up to something that was worth looking at, which is most of the city, to be fair, it buzzed, and then it started telling you about the building that you're standing in front of. And I thought, this is incredible. I mean,
it was just so refreshing, rather than having to keep scrolling down and clicking on other things. You just literally opened the app and you were away. You didn't have to do anything else.
So it got us thinking, didn't it?
It
got us thinking and thought, wouldn't this be brilliant if you could do it in the UK? And it was just, because the app that we opened was quite complicated. I couldn't work it out.
It was a bit clunky as well,
German
wasn't it?
Well,
yeah,
it was odd.
It was translating, to be fair, as well.
But it was what it was doing. It was pulling information down from Wikipedia and then telling you what Wikipedia had written about this cathedral or that theatre or this opera house or that river or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. And we left Dresden knowing loads more about Dresden than we'd ever have known if we didn't have that tour guide.
Unless we paid £20 for a tour guide.
And we didn't have time to do a tour anyway.
No, we didn't.
So we got back to the UK and then we kind of started thinking about it and thought this would be a really, really good thing to do.
Well, we had a good look round as well, and nobody else was doing it.
Yeah. No one seems to be doing it.
In the UK.
No one seems to be doing it for free.
Yeah.
That's what we found. Yeah. And I don't know if you know, you probably do know, because only 4 of you listen to this podcast, is we do ghost walks as well. And I thought initially, this would be a great ghost walk, because you could record your ghost stories online, put them up, and then, go to, doing quotation marks, haunted street or haunted place or cemetery, and then put your story in that cemetery, and it can only be accessed in that cemetery because it uses a technology called
geofencing.
Look at you knowing about technology. Hey? So what's geofencing, Joanne?
Don't make me explain it.
It's simple.
I know it is. It picks up where you are from your Wi-Fi signals, from your 4G. And then
yes, that's it really. It's satellites in the sky that pinpoint where you are, and as you walk towards something that you have geofenced, you put a fence around something, as you walk into that invisible fence, it tells the device to tell you something or show you something or ping you something.
So your story kicks in as you approach the area.
Yeah. So So anyway, are we just rambling now? And is it sound? I don't think. I think it sounds.
Right.
Yeah,
No, we don't have to put it up, do we?
Yeah, we do. I have to pay every month for this. So that was the initial idea, was to record loads, because we've done so many ghost walks. We've done them in Oldham, Uppermill, Burnley, Rottenstall, and at Halloween and any other time we can't do them anyway because it's
Well, there's no interest any other time than Halloween.
Yeah,
really.
So we decided, this would be a really good idea, and then what led us into thinking we could do this for history. You could do this for.
Well, first of all, we're chatting to a guy that we've worked with a few times called Peter Dunn, who had some heritage funding quite a while ago and did an awful lot of work on the shoe industry in the Rosendale Valley. I know. So, anyway, he encouraged us to put an application in, didn't he, for heritage funding, which we got, which we were successful for. So that's what I know. It's so dry. It's so boring. So we're not going to actually talk.
It's not. It's just
it's
to
all
us now.
right. We're saturated, aren't we?
Yeah.
And it's not interesting enough to give you story after story after story, really.
So what we've done is we've built an app, a web app. So it's a website, really.
Yeah.
Based around Google Maps, and you walk around Rosendale. And as you get to a mill or a river or a specific area that has a story attached to it that has something to do with the shoe industry, it tells you the story. But it was good because we found out. We've learned about the Industrial Revolution in the valley. We've learned, it was called the Golden Valley. We've learned about industrialialists.
Yeah, it was interesting when we were learning. I know. Yeah, it was interesting when we were learning.
My favourite is the River Irwell.
You love the River.
I love it. I absolutely think it's amazing that this little river that starts in Bacup and goes to Manchester becomes the mighty Mersey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
It
becomes
is
the ship canal. It becomes, it is, and it's the stream at the bottom of our road. I mean, it's brilliant, really, when you think about it.
So now we're almost ready to launch the app, really, aren't we? We're nearly there.
We've employed a web designer, and it just takes. I mean, it's like pulling teeth, isn't it?
I know.
It is,
but it has to be right.
But it has to be right. It does have to be right. So what we've called it, Joanne?
We've called it Snikkit.
Why have we called it Snikkit?
Because it's a shortcut.
What is?
Great stories. A Snikkit.
A Snikkit.
Well, yeah, it's a little. You call it a twitchel.
We call it a twitchel. You call it a ginnel.
I call it a Snikkit.
A Snikkit, you call it.
Yeah.
Twitchel or alleyway.
Yeah.
Back passage. Loads of people. What?
What? Nothing.
What?
Oh, back passage.
What are you laughing at?
Just laughing. It's funny.
Back passage.
Yeah.
All right. So Snikkit.
I'm so grown up.
And it's just a shortcut.
It's a shortcut to great stories. So in the meantime, we've been really, really busy just writing story after story after story, haven't we? Really, to get content.
And hopefully, I mean, we're going to launch with the shoe industry, but we'll very swiftly want to. So that was the original idea, was to do the X43.
It was
a bus route. Like imagine if you're sitting on a bus and you're bored senseless going to Manchester from Burnley. I mean, we're saying this like people in Japan might be listening to this podcast.
I know, we're saying it like everybody knows exactly where Burnley is from Manchester.
But you sat on a bus anywhere in the world, hopefully, and that's where hopefully we'll be everywhere in the world. With your help, you will help us put all the Snikkits up. And you've always gone, I wonder what that tower is on that hill.
Yeah.
Well, this is what Snikkit's for. It will tell you what that is. Or you wonder why, what's that school there? Or what's this? Or what's that? Or what's the other? What was the Petersfield massacre? You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Peterloo, yeah.
So that's it, really. Peterloo.
That's it. Well, but yeah, you do. Oh. You're always doing that. But what we did realise is that we're just a drop in the ocean, the proverbial little flick of dust in the universe, really. So we need to have the same model that Wikipedia had, whereby they obviously felt the same and threw it out. So we'd like people to add content for us. Of course, it'll be vetoed before it goes on, because we can't have any rudeness or anything like that on it. It's going on under Hargraff's name. But any stories, really, anywhere in the world would be most welcome.
But what we've noticed, what interests me the most is putting up real stories. I'm a theatre company, and to do a play, that's in the sky on a satellite dish. So as you walk into the field, that something happened and you're told a story, you know, and then you're led somewhere else and told a bit more of the story. That's what excites me. And the sky's the limit, really. I mean, literally, the sky's the limit. What plans have we got this summer, Joanne? See, this is how little attention you pay. You know what I mean?
Don't know.
Well, I'm going to go to Edinburgh Festival. I'm going to write a play and put it in Edinburgh Festival, which I think is quite exciting. My wife obviously has forgotten it in between a glass of wine.
I know, but you said, oh yeah, I am going to do, and oh no, I can't be bothered. No, I'm not. So you've been a bit up and down with it. We haven't exactly booked anything, or
we don't need to book anything.
Not accommodation.
We don't need to book accommodation. We can do it from our living room.
We're not going to go.
Show. Well, there's no need for you to go, is there?
Other than I want to.
Only the authors needs to go, doesn't it?
Well, I'm writing.
Are you all right in the Edinburgh show, are you?
Can do.
Good luck with that then.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with that. So what have you been doing?
Manchester Music Tour I've just about finished now. So that's ready to go really as soon as the apps.
That's exciting. I think
that's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's a bit self-indulgent, I have to say, but it has been extremely entertaining for me. It is good. I know it's good. I'm excited about it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hearing it in its entirety. And what else we got? We've got all sorts of stuff. So what we want to do is grow like a fungus, really, like on my foot. We want to grow out like a fungus, start in Rosendale and then move down the M66 into Manchester, take over Manchester with stories everywhere, you know. So there's plenty of stories for tourists, for locals, for everyone to
the other thing to say as well is it isn't just stories or
and
even ghost
stories.
We're going to put in, it's all history. There'll be poems being read in areas. It's, massive big mishmash of all entertainment, really.
I've done a poem already for here. I put a poem on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy called Edwin Waugh, who's a dialect poet.
Yeah.
Is it Waugh?
Waugh.
Edwin Waugh, who's and there's actually a memorial on top of the hill we found once when we were walking. He was an alcoholic about 100 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Alcoholic, and his friend paid for him to go and live on top of the hill behind us for 6 weeks so he could sober up, and he wrote some more poems, and there's a memorial up there. So I put one of his poems up there, which I think is quite fitting. So you got to work for some of them. I mean, that's the thing. Some of them will probably never get listened to because they're so,
indeed,
so far away.
But then I do think there's a lot of walking ground round here that's populated by walkers, and everybody has a smartphone on them all the time because you do it for safety if you're going out in the hills, don't you?
Yeah, well.
So you never know.
Yeah, but then you got to get up there and then remember that you got to turn Snikkit on, and I mean that's the other thing. That's the only downside. But we want to be as big. I'd like it to be really massive. I'd like you to be waiting for a bus and have 10 minutes and just walk around the corner and find something and go and listen to something, and then get on your bus and go home. That's what, and that if that's a story or a piece of history, the history that I've learnt in the last 4 or 5 months is incredible.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed that.
I've enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it, and we were at museums last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
We had a day. We decided to go down to Manchester.
Yeah.
And we were so knowledgeable, just looking at things.
I know, it's really good, isn't it? I know this. Oh, that was in 1752, wasn't it?
Yes. I went to Cromford Mill the other day in Derbyshire and knew all the history of the spinning jenny and Anyway.
So we need everybody to know about Snikkit, and ideally we want Apple and Android to, have it as standard settings on the smartphones, really, so that you've all got it on your phones whether you like it or not. So we could maybe persuade someone into that. That'd be good.
Good luck with that then. Maybe you doing this
think
podcast.
Big.
Do you not think I don't think big?
Of course I do.
Do you not think I'm the one that thinks big all the time? What else have we been up to then? Hang on, is that Caravan? If anyone wants to buy Caravan,
Don't say that. Wait until we've been and blooming looked at it first. It might be full of flipping placentas of mice again.
Be all right.
Well, it better be.
Be all right, they can give us a quid.
Yeah, when we said you want to buy it, we mean, 10 bob. These are the stakes we're talking about, really.
I know. But it's great, that Caravan.
It is good. If you just want to have it somewhere in the middle of nowhere and you like mountains and you just want to get your head down and then get up again the next morning and get back out walking, it's perfect.
Sold your car this week, didn't you?
Well, I did at last, yeah.
Well, I sold your car.
You sold it on Facebook.
I hate Facebook. Rubbish, waste of time. Put it on Facebook. Mind you, that's really annoyed me, actually. I've forgotten about this.
What?
You remember all the idiots? All them tossers?
Oh, yeah.
And there must be kids. We had a few people messages straight away saying, I'm coming round now.
I'll have it now. I'll give you the asking price. I'm coming round. So the first guy, we went down to meet him. Yeah. So I sat there like blimmin' lemons. Nobody turned up. Came home, didn't we? And then messaged him. Nothing. Absolutely nil. So then the next straight offer we had was from someone in Rochdale, which is about a 20-minute drive away.
He said, I'm on my way now. I'm on my way.
It was a girl, wasn't it? A young girl. Well, if you believe the profile pic, it's a young girl. I'm on my way now. I'll be with you in 20 minutes. Right, great, brilliant. Nothing. Nobody turned up. So I must admit by this time, it was about 7 o'clock at night. I know it was the second one who was doing my head in. Yeah. So I messaged her under Mark's name because
you haven't got Facebook.
Lost Facebook now. And I did say, what did I say? It wasn't aggressive or anything. It was just like, what's wrong with you? I said, you could have at least said. So the next news, you got a message, do you want to fight, Mark?
Do you want to fight me?
Oh my God, do you want to fight me, Mark? That's what she put. So we were losing the blooming will to live by then.
But it was incredible. There was one.
Oh, three figures people messaging, wasn't it?
Oh, I can't believe how thick people are. I mean, there was one guy who said, "I'm in Blackburn. Will you drop it off for us? I'll buy it now."
What amused me was the way nobody could bloody string a sentence together.
Yeah.
And there was all that horrible abbreviation that does my head in. The letter U instead of YOU, and you say, "Oh, go away! I can't be arsed talking to you. Speak properly."
What it is? I can't be bothered. You know?
It really puts me off. They just look because they look like they're stupid when they write like that. So
they are stupid.
They are. So then straight away you go, I can't be asked to engage with you. You're too stupid. I won't even know where to start trying to begin to explain things to you.
Anyway,
you don't look like you have any capacity.
We had a woman.
Look at me getting cross again.
I know, but we had a woman, didn't we? She said, "I'll pay you more money if I can come at 7 o'clock," didn't she?
Yeah, she wanted it for her daughter, didn't she?
Her daughter's. The story was. We could tell the story. Like her daughter's.
Had
left university, hadn't she?
Yeah, she'd gone to university and left her
boyfriend.
I
start the stories and you just finish them wrongly. Go on, carry on.
It's right. You tell it then. Stop getting stroppy.
I'm not. I do this.
Well,
I start telling the story because you forget. You told me today 3 times about your mate who's going to Burnley training ground. And I'm like, 1, I'm not really interested about Burnley training ground. And 2, I don't know who your mate is. And 3, you told me 3 times. And I've been polite and just kept my mouth shut. And
well, join the club! King of repeating himself here.
Well, there you go. We've probably done this podcast before.
Probably have. Sorry, everyone.
Stop shouting, Gobby.
I know, but I do shout, don't I? I can't help it.
Well,
anyway, so she'd gone to university and left her boyfriend at home in Rochdale. Really, really missed him.
Bury, wasn't it?
No, Rochdale. Oh yeah, no, they were in Bury, yeah.
There you go.
There you are. That's one first cock up of the story.
That's smart listening.
And then, so she left university, bless her, and came home, and he was going out with somebody else.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah.
I've forgotten that bit of the story.
So she was heartbroken. So mum was just trying to cheer her up. Thought, well, get her a
car
from me.
It's a good
It's
car.
A good car. It is.
Good car.
It was brilliant.
And then they turned up anyway, and the battery was flat because it's been stood all. And,
winter, really.
We started it, and it started first time, didn't it? Cracking. Brilliant car. But then you had to jump start it or bump it. And the guy that turned up, I don't know whether that was his husband or boyfriend or whatever.
I think it was her husband, wasn't it?
God, retard is not the bloody... You know what I mean? Yeah, I know some people don't know the way around cars, but, you can bump a car, sure.
Did you not know how to bump?
Well, I was... No.
I came in.
No, and I thought, well, why didn't I do it? I should have just done it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's my fault, really. It's kicking myself, really.
Yeah.
And he could have done with the exercise pushing, really, couldn't he?
Very definitely.
Yeah, very definitely. So we've sold a car.
But
I tell you what, Facebook absolutely did my head in.
Well, it just reinforced to me who's on it, to be honest.
On a plus note, though, this
not.
week, neither of our parents came in on Windrush. So we're laughing. We're still here. What else? What else has been happening in the world of wonder and excitement?
We went down to Nottingham with the children.
We did, didn't we? Yeah, we were at Sea Forest.
You watched football.
Draw 0-0, which is boring. And then we came back through Derbyshire.
Which was lovely. Yeah, that was lovely on Sunday.
And that's about it, really.
That's us. We're all snicketed up.
But we'll let you know. I mean, some of you follow us on Twitter. You can follow us at ardgraft_UK. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Well, I think we need to let people know then when we've launched it, which will be in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would have thought, won't it?
Yes. I mean, if you want... if you've got something, Sunday afternoon or something, and you want to find out about the shoe industry. Yeah, but it's not just the shoe industry, is it?
It's all to be fair, what makes it super interesting in parts it's the valley and the industrial revolution. It's how people lived, what the life was like when they get from getting up in the morning to going to bed at night. That's
it
what's
is. It has got some useful things.
It's
got there's a story about the library. There's a story about the railway. There's stories about the First and Second World War. I was reading today about the flu. For some strange reason, the Spanish flu.
Oh yeah.
Of 1918, 40 million people they reckon it killed in the world. In the world,
yeah.
And that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
But they were trying to explain why it was killing normal people, and not under 5-year-olds and over 75-year-olds. So what the flu normally does. I would have read it, but I'm flued out really. So yes, there's all sorts of stories. There's all sorts of stories, though, isn't there? I mean, there are some interesting stories about the shoe industry.
There definitely are.
But I mean, what we found, I actually got to carry on that because I've just remembered what loads of things that we found that made us cross. White slavery.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
This valley has this proud industry and this proud heritage, or the people are proud, and that when you dig deep. They worked like slaves. Absolutely worked like slaves for hardly any money in really terrible housing.
Awful lifestyles.
And the life expectancy was
no
really
time
quite
off.
short.
Yeah, really short.
And it made millionaires of a few people, and all the rest of them, or the rest of us, were there to play catch up, and they still wax lyrical about how amazing it was. I don't think we've actually done a Snikkit about this, have we? We ought to do this actually, because it did infuriate me at times when you spoke to people, that were working really long hours and really tedious jobs as well, because it was repetitive jobs. They had people like skivers. What were skivers? They were the ones that cut out the leather, weren't they?
Yeah.
Were they clackers?
Called a skiver.
Were they clackers? Skiver was the one on the back of the heel. They rubbed the leather down on the back of a heel to make it softer and not so thick. And then they had clackers. The clackers were the ones that cut the leather out, and they were highly trained.
So we've interviewed people. We've spoken to a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge and experience of the shoe industry. And do you remember that lady who was saying how wonderful that mill owner was because he gave all the staff £20 at Christmas?
£75.
Or was it 75?
No, it was 70 quid because he was 70 years old.
That's right.
And another story ruined by Auntie Jo. Give them all 70 quid. And she was just going, just give us all this 70 quid. And you and I walked out of this place and we went, he must have been absolutely loaded. Yeah. And that's like nothing to him.
Absolutely.
Nothing. I mean, this was in the
they were so grateful.
This was in the 1980s. So it wasn't like it was...
It wasn't a fortune then.
No. Anyway. And these people lived in massive mansions. And they had massive houses, massive factories, and made massive profits until, the 90s when they started moaning because Chinese were coming in. There you are. Is that it?
That's it.
Nothing else?
No. Well, we've been to Nottingham, so count. We're going to the Caravan. We've tried to flog the Caravan as well.
I know, but that's just like, you know, they'll be sitting there now going, I've just downloaded this bloody podcast and they're talking about their holidays.
Time to go.
It's probably time to go, isn't it?
It is.
It is time to go. Join us next time when we'll be talking about, hopefully, the launch of Snikkit.
Hopefully.
And,
I think we will.
Yeah.
We're nearly there. Really nearly there now.
I was thinking, oh, we ought to have a ceremony. But how do you do that? You just switch it on, don't you, I suppose? And then that's it. There you go. Anyway, if you go to hardgraph.co.uk, you can join our mailing list. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook. I'm still on Facebook. I'm not scared of Facebook. You can advertise.
I'm not scared of Facebook. I'm just bored of it.
You can advertise all you like to me. What do you mean? I'm not criticising you. I'm just saying I'm not scared.
Well, what would you be scared of?
I don't know. Lots of people are just going away from Facebook because they're scared of getting adverts to tell them to vote Brexit. I don't know. Or we're on Instagram. What else are we on? Everything, really, aren't we?
Everything. All social media. All forums.
And if you want, Joanne will tap the table. See you next week or
Bye.
next time. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to the Rosendale Footwear app. This app is designed to share with the users the amazing history of how this small valley made it big in the world of footwear. Along with shoes, slippers and boots, we'll also be talking about the history of the valley as everything leads to and lays the foundations for footwear.
The shoe industry intertwines with the weaving and cotton industries. One thing begets another, and whilst we can separate them out, it's impossible to not reference and include all these industries. Therefore, whilst this audio is predominantly about the shoe industry in the valley, we'll be referencing the cotton and weaving industries too, in order to give a comprehensive representation of the development of the shoe industry.
All you have to do is open the app, look at the map, and move towards the nearest story. Enjoy.